Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boys from For Those With Good Taste. I'm Matt. He's Lenny.
As the great Jim Jones would say, Matt, we stay fly, no lie. Ballin'.
After last week's tough times here in Good Taste Studios, I think we finally came together and made peace.
Things are good, man. Things are better than they've ever been, Matt.
And somehow at the end of this episode, I ended up being the bad friend and Lenny totally redeemed himself.
But you know what, man? We're just dudes being dudes who are about dudes, talking about dudes.
And I'm a dude, you're a dude, everybody's a dude.
Fucking sweet, man.
So let's do some dude things together, but everybody's included. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and get ready to get wild and have some fun.
Boy, do we mean everybody. Even kids in small spaces, quite possibly even animals.
I've got a bad feeling about this one.
Strap in. It's going to be a wild ride.
For those with good taste.
Matt.
What's up, buddy?
Would you like to apologize to me now or in a couple minutes?
I don't really do well with apologies, so I'd rather you didn't give me an option.
But don't you think you owe me one?
For what, per se?
Well, I made you a promise last week, Matt. And you called me like a liar. Do you remember that?
I certainly didn't call you a truther.
You didn't do that. That's a fact. That's a damn fact. You know, it was a real tense moment we had. The people saw it.
Yeah.
We got to talk about it.
It's out there now, so if we didn't address it, some people could call us a liar.
They'd call you a liar, certainly, because you said I was a liar, in fact, making yourself a liar, because I'm owed an apology, Matt, because I watched something.
Okay, so is this my surprise?
One of many.
Really? Well, please elaborate, my good friend, because I am all about giving flowers when they're due, and some would say I'm okay with being wrong.
It was about a week ago, Matt.
About a week ago. Sorry, go ahead.
It was about a week ago.
About a week ago.
We had just finished a podding.
Yeah.
And I sat down to relax my night, rest these folks. Because it had been a long day at the office, in the shop.
I can certainly understand that.
Right? But I needed something to, get the steam off with.
I'm a little bit concerned with which direction this is going. Were you thinking of me this entire time?
So I kicked back my chair.
Okay.
I pulled the lever on the recliner. My legs went up.
What next?
And I turned on the TV.
Oh, God, thank God. Wait, what'd you do next?
I looked at the plunger. It's what old people call remotes.
The clicker? I've never heard... Wait a minute. The plunger, you're not going over there.
So, on the plunger, there was a button. It said Netflix.
Oh, the flicks of net. Okay.
And I pulled up a classic, Matt. I pulled up one of their originals.
Where are you going with this?
And I watched season 3 of Stranger Things.
This is what this has come to? This is my surprise that it's been percolating these last couple days?
One of many.
Okay, so when you said that I called you a liar, not a truther, it was because you had said that you were going to watch season 3 of Stranger Things. But prior to that, you had let it slip that you didn't even finish watching season 2.
But then we figured out
That
later
you did?
that I did watch it.
Okay.
Because I'm a big dummy.
So what am I apologizing for?
For saying I wasn't going to watch season 3 of Stranger Things, dude.
No.
You said I didn't have it. You didn't think I had the gall.
I think I said, I don't think you've got it in you to do it. And realistically, I'm probably right on this because
Matt, I had it
you only watched it out of spite.
I had it so in me, Matt. It was so far in me.
How far in you was I?
It was deep.
Okay.
that I got it out.
Wow.
I got it out fast.
How long did it take you to knock it out?
About 24 hours.
Really?
48 max.
Wow. That's really efficient.
A whole season.
And what were your thoughts coming out of it?
It was fucking great.
Really?
It was really good.
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
It was really good, dude.
Okay.
It was really good. Dude, the sexual tension in here right now is just at an all-time high. I don't know about you.
I was kind of hoping that the camera would just go out.
You could cut
I'd
this
have an
with
excuse.
a knife, dude.
All right, man. We have a lot to address right now.
Wow.
Is this what it feels like when you ask me to watch something?
Birds cry? No, sorry.
No,
I don't know what song
we're
that
not
is.
going there.
Fuck.
Artist formerly known. I need to know if this is what it feels like every time you ask me to watch something, and I'm just as excited as you are about it. Is this what it feels like?
Yeah, it's like crack, dude.
I've never been there, but that sounds ideal. The big question I have for you is, because you enjoyed it, do you feel like it exceeded your expectations? Because I know you weren't too hot on it.
Well, I don't think I was ever down on Stranger Things. I think what we've talked about before is like the big gaps between seasons makes it so you're not as like locked into what's going on.
Yeah, but you made that gap even wider because you decided to wait longer to watch season 3.
Oh, I did. Self-imposed. Yeah.
But punishments.
You have something like You coming out, and that was a relatively, I feel like, a relatively quick turnaround.
It wasn't. It just felt like it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the pandemic or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, so what I did here, they do this really great thing on Netflix with their originals, at least, where you can just go watch a recap of the season before, right?
Yeah.
So I just went and watched a little recap of season 2.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, I don't remember a ton of this, but it's kind of coming back to me. And then I jumped into season 3, and I had actually watched a couple episodes, so I jogged my memory a little bit on what I had seen. Because remember, I'm not going to get into that here. Remember, we had mentioned something about the brother banging older people.
Cougars.
I realized that he was going on a date with one, and that's where kind of the whole season starts, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it escalates, man. It escalates very quickly. I don't know if I'm allowed to like spoil this or if I should just leave it unspoiled and just say that it was like.
I think you know exactly what to do if you're ready to drop some spoilers.
It's one of dude. It's great for science fiction fans. I think.
Oh yeah, big time.
It's really, really good, man.
And they've always managed to do a great job with the soundtrack. It always tends to hit you in the feels. And the introduction of the brother, and his name is escaping me, but he brought, when you want to talk
Curly
about
hair,
sexual tension.
Yeah, you wanted to bang him.
I could understand where the Cougars were coming from, man.
Yeah, he was glistening.
He was
glistened
glistening
throughout that season.
It's not fair that he's a lifeguard, dude. But then the way that the family dynamic ties
you could have been a lifeguard, I'm sure, if you wanted to.
I'm a great swimmer, dude.
I know. You were a fucking fish,
I
bro.
really hate that I just said that and you got that recorded because you're going to use that against me every chance you get.
You're a fish, dude. No, I have no hate, man.
I'm out there, man.
You're Phelpsian.
I don't think I could achieve the gold, man.
I could only hope.
I think the only thing he and I have in common is you know what.
Semen.
Well, I don't know, man. I think that there's levels to this.
You're
game.
a couple of cocksmen.
We're cocksmiths, maybe? I don't know. Could say what you said.
Yep.
I don't know. But the show does introduce a different dynamic to the group of friends that we have.
I liked the 3 separate storylines, and
Yeah.
I liked the 3 separate groups. It gave you an opportunity really to get to know the individual players in here, and then it was great, of course, when you get the moment later on in the season where they all merge back together in the mall.
I love that you were able to do that without spoiling anything. Good for you, man. We've really come a long way.
Well, and I don't think I actually feel bad, because there's one big spoiler I want to talk about.
All right, let's
honestly.
do it. 3, 2, 1, spoiler. Let's talk about it.
How well do you remember the season?
I remember it quite well.
Okay, so I mean, I really just want to talk about the end, which I'm sure you would remember. So we get to, like, for one, Elle is awesome in the whole season, and
man.
she gets bodied multiple times, but she also is just breaking
She has a lot
bitches.
of growth. A lot of growth.
Yeah. Like, and I like that they are like making her into a normal girl.
Yep.
She makes an actual friend that's not just a group of nerdy dudes.
Yep.
I like the dynamics of watching them grow up, where it is like it's very realistic that, especially in that time too, where there's less internet to expose you to shit, that you get to be a kid longer. I think.
It's a completely different development of personalities at that age, and you really notice the difference in characters from where we started in season 1 to where Elle is now, and she's really kind of coming to her own as a person.
And not even just her, but I'm talking about like Mike and I can't remember the other two boys' names, but like the one who was abducted in season 1, right? Him being still like latched onto the idea of like playing D&D with his boys and like we're gonna be like these dudes forever, and the other two are like, yo, we're into girls now, you know, and like
man, it's so tough because he's just kind of, you can almost see him being left behind, and he kind of missed out on those parts.
Yeah, no, it's Will and Lucas are the other two.
There we go.
Dustin gets a girlfriend. That kid will only ever do this TV show, basically, but he is so awesome in his fucking role.
Bro, the big payoff for him with the radio and the way that he connects with his girlfriend.
Yeah. The song is...
Oh, man.
The song is great.
She demands it.
Yeah.
She's like, no, Dusty, we're singing the song now.
We're fucking doing it. And they perfectly, dude.
Oh, man.
If they were in the era of TikTok, they would be great at that duet thing, like the lip syncing thing, because
big time.
They matched up perfectly over the radio waves. But the actual spoiler I wanted to talk about was the very end. Hopper.
Yep.
R.I.P., dude.
Were you surprised?
That he's alive? Yes. I'm lying. No, of course. Like, it was one of those things where he died, and I'm like, all right. First of all, they did the trope where they don't actually show you him dying.
Yeah, you don't see it.
I'm like, they'll find a way to bring him back. I do think it's interesting. I'm sure you're going to get the perspective of how he lives through it. But there's a teaser that's come out since that season ended that shows him in Russia.
Yeah,
they
he's
also
behind locked doors.
In the post credit to the episode, to that season. Yeah, you do see him actually in a separate teaser they've put out.
Yep.
Where he's like digging a ditch or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But no, I would have been surprised. It just wouldn't have made sense, right? It wouldn't have made sense because of Winona Ryder's character was why it didn't really make sense to me at the time. I don't think they, story writing wise, like if you're telling a story, I don't think that you could kill her love interest off.
Again?
Back-to-back seasons.
Again?
Yeah.
No.
It just, because how would her
character... not fair.
I actually don't think, I think it's unrealistic in a little bit how she's coping. Like she hasn't even, and I guess she's got to be like strong, but maybe she's just dumb to it at this point, but I didn't really get that feeling. It almost just felt like I thought she didn't cope enough with the fact that she is fucking cursed.
They had some moments where she was reliving what had happened to, was it Scott Astin? Skylar? I'm forgetting the name.
Yeah, you're good. Sean Astin.
Sean Astin, there we go. When she loses him, they're also not really addressing the fact that her two sons are kind of growing apart from her as well, right? Like Mike is becoming his own person. I'm forgetting the brother's name.
It's
Jonathan.
Yeah.
He's kind of figuring things out for himself as well.
I don't know if do you like him for
no
that chick?
No,
for Nancy?
Absolutely not. I think Nancy is
Nancy's got to be with Steve, right?
Yeah, see, Steve is the man.
Steve's on the come up.
Dude, Steve's been on the come up, dude, ever since he took the beating for her. Like, there's just certain things that he's had his there and back again story, and he's done really well since then. I think season 3 puts a lot of shine on him and how much he actually cares about these kids.
That's where it's like those characters all got to... It's very rare, too, that they were able to tell 3 separate storylines and allow all the characters to, I feel like, grow. Because, I mean, I didn't watch... Titans, obviously, but I mean, like listening to you, everybody I know basically talk about like what they do to character building. It's like I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah,
but
it's a good example.
Across a lot of shows that by the time they get into seasons 3, 4, whatever, I think that's where you start to see some of those characters tail off
big time. Yeah, you start really running out of original ideas of what to do with them, and then maybe you go down the cliche line of love interests, spiraling out of control, things like that. And this show, we've already gotten the teaser or the new trailer for it. So in a way, I guess I'm glad that you did wait, because now it's going to keep it a little bit fresher for you going into the new season.
You still didn't apologize.
I was hoping we could just skip through that.
Yeah.
Lenny. Lenny, look me in the eyes. Pucker your lips real quick. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry I called you not a truther.
That feels a lot better, dude. Thanks.
All right. Do you feel better?
Yeah, and I'll thank you, man. Like, I just want to, guys being guys, just a couple of bros here in the room, in the podcast studio.
I am still kind of glad that we keep ourselves this, like, far apart from each other, because there are times where I just want to hit you.
6 feet is important, dude.
No, it is. And in a lot of ways, it's always been the way that we're measured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm more of a. I've always normally measured it in about 6 inches. But...
Well, you're a regular size queen yourself, you know, and we've always known that about
you.
About
average.
But can we just agree that maybe 33% of the time you should probably listen to me when I say to watch something?
I'm gonna go a little lower.
What?
But I do.
A third?
You didn't.
You
let
can't
me,
give me a third.
You didn't let me say thank you for really pushing me to watch Stranger Things season 3.
You can't give me a third?
I would say a quarter.
I'll take it. At this point, I feel like I'm not going to get
compromise, dude. We're really this relationship is rebuilding, dude.
We've come together on a few things, Lenny. And
have we? Back to back?
Like together, like simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that we've come to agree on at this point, and we're just going to say it and not spend too much time with it, but there is a certain little phenomenon that's taken over the entertainment industry.
I don't get into any phenomenons.
No. We're not about it.
Well
right?
documented.
I know you're Mr. Contrarian, and I'm going to jump on that train myself.
This was a big, honestly, as far as bonding.
I felt like this was a good time.
This is another we're having a huge week, dude.
Yeah, it feels like we're having...
And it's crazy because all those dirt sheets were talking about how we were coming to an end.
Yeah, dude, I didn't like the fact that they wanted us to go public just so that they could drive down our stock.
Dude, it's like you have a little tiff on camera, and all of a sudden, they think that you're just gonna break up.
What's the world without a little bit of
drama,
critical tension, dude?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's only right.
I think the tabloids drummed up a little bit of that tension.
This is why I don't read anything past like the Google and the Netscape Navigator headlines. That's where I'm at with it.
I asked Jeeves what he thought. He said, "You guys are clear."
Did the little paperclip say, "Is this the topic that you were looking for?"
He said, "Must not be, because you guys are healthy and well."
Well, we're healthy and well enough to know that we're not jumping on this bullshit Squid Game.
Fuck that
fiasco.
Yeah, I'm out, dude.
That's out there.
I'm out. I'm not a reader, bro.
Not only that, man, the people who have told me to just watch the English dub, bro. Let me ask you a question, people. When you're watching a television show, do you like when the voices and the actual person speaking don't line up? Are you an idiot?
Fuckers.
It's the most annoying thing when it comes to watching television.
Ugh.
I'm all about watching anime and watching dub. That's cool. I know what I'm getting. But when you tell me that I'm supposed to watch a Korean show in English, I'm not doing it.
The only dub that I'm into, Matt, is Step.
Yeah, I know that you're still pretty hot on that, man.
Yeah. The trend has not died in my world.
Do you still have that Skrillex tattoo?
Yeah. It's my gooch area.
I don't think they call it that anymore.
No.
Because it's
the taint?
No, it's something else.
It taint called that anymore?
I think they call it the... Because I don't know what you did there. It's called the crumb, dude.
No. Is it because it's like a little tiny morsel?
No, I don't think that's why it's called that. I was just going to say it's the way that the cookie crumbles. That's a way worse joke. I'm glad we went with yours.
Squid Game, dude. It looks fine. Like, I like the Hunger Games too, everybody, but I'm not gonna watch it.
Nothing about it.
You know what?
I'll tell you what. To me.
We have a calendar somewhere over here. It's over there.
Watch out, guy.
Yeah.
It's back there.
It's in that corner. We're gonna put a pin in it. I'll be back to that in about 12 months. Let me know if it's still popular.
I mean, let it be known that Lenny also hasn't watched Parasite.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're not about the mainstream bullshit.
Against Asian hate. Hashtag not racist.
So you're not being supportive. I
gave Shang-Chi 3.5 stars.
I know. Oh man, like we really need to talk about your new rating system on movies. We won't do it now.
We'll get around to it.
I love what you're doing.
Yeah. Tip-top shape over here.
No, you're sticking to a standard, and it's honestly a standard that should be adopted by more people.
Do you want to move on to things we are probably going to watch?
Yeah, I'm about that.
I had no fucking clue, Matt. Excuse my French. That Wilder Fury was happening this weekend. I had no clue. I've been seeing like headlines and shit, but is it for a fight that's like supposed to... This should be the biggest fight of the year, right?
I'm going to ask you this, Len, as a... Not a casual boxing fan, but not necessarily quite an expert.
Probably am.
Are you surprised that you haven't heard anything about this?
I think
when you are considering this to possibly be one of the fights of the year.
I'm surprised on two fronts, honestly. I'm surprised first and foremost because like while I am what I would consider a casual boxing fan, I am a pretty legit combat sports fan. And so by living on within that realm, you'd think that I would get the overflow of something as large as Wilder Fury being on my radar, that like, obviously I know the fight's happening, but I just
didn't even know it was this weekend.
I didn't realize it was this close. I thought it was going to, like, I'm expecting the end of the year, like fucking whatever.
No, man. We are hot on the heels of Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3.
I'm also surprised though, Matt, as a casual, because like, what are you going to expect for pay-per-view buys if I don't know about it?
And this is where I'm not surprised, right? As the knowledgeable person here on boxing, and I use that term very loosely, I've been dubbing this fight as the worst kept secret in boxing right now. A lot of interviews that you'll listen to, headlines that you'll read will tell you that Deontay Wilder is on the road to redemption. He is ready for his revenge tour. If this were the case, I think that there would be a lot more publicity behind it. I think if there were a lot of people who believe that he had a chance at beating Tyson Fury, we'd hear a lot more about it. But the reason why you're not is because this is going to go one of two ways. Either Tyson Fury is going to crumble under the pressure and publicity of everything that's going on around him. A lot of question marks in his camp at whether or not he faked the whole having COVID thing to have the fight rescheduled.
What would be the point in him doing that?
He's not in fight shape. Hasn't really been taking training camp seriously. There's a few pictures floating around of him being more out of shape than he normally is. Like you know, he's never going to be an informed guy.
They think that he's probably pretty confident that he has the blueprint now, that he could beat Wilder on any night he ever wanted to. Right?
You ask anybody what Tyson Fury did really well in that fight, and it was that he was able to recognize what a lot of people haven't, is that Deontay Wilder does not fight well off of his back foot. Needs to be coming forward, needs to be able to apply pressure to you. If you're putting pressure on him, he's probably not going to get the angles and the punches off that he wants to. It's because he's not a clinical boxer, right? We've talked about him being a huge one-shot stopper. This is going to be a difficult fight for him to overcome the blueprint that Tyson Fury had already developed from the second fight.
So you talked about the mindset of Fury. I've seen more in the little bit I've now, like, thinking back, because, like, obviously once I realized it, I was like, oh, I guess I have been seeing more articles recently, but nothing is like big fight in a week and a half. It's like, like Wilder said this, or Fury might have had this or that going on. Wilder, I saw again, was like, he probably faked COVID so he had more time to think about ways to cheat to win this fight. And I'm just like, dude, like, you want to talk about mentality? This guy's got a fucking loser's mentality. Like,
do you want to talk about contrasting headlines, Len? Because another article that I read, because I read some snippets of that particular interview that he did. Another one was, he said he was going to stop blaming everybody else for the things that were his responsibility.
Doesn't sound like it.
Doesn't sound like it.
No.
Right? We're not far off from when he was saying that the headgear that he chose to wear into the ring was the reason why he felt fatigued going into the fight.
He also thought he was drugged before the fight.
He also talked about his his training team being paid off. A lot of little things that you would pull up as red flags that don't lead me to believe that you're in the right mindset or even the right place to start thinking about. He hasn't fought anybody since that second Tyson Fury fight. We have no evidence of him getting better.
So maybe this is where I was confused too. So Wilder versus Fury 3 is happening this weekend. When is Plant versus
That's in
Canelo?
3 weeks.
Okay, because I thought that was closer.
Yeah.
I thought that was what was actually happening.
And why did you think that, Lenny?
Because they had that face-off and
they've
all
had
that
the face-off. There hasn't. The chatter hasn't stopped about this game plan and Canelo.
They've done a better
fight.
job of getting. Like, I think it's all just been. It's a little tired, the back and forth between Fury and Wilder as well. And I think what hurts it even more is, obviously we talked about last week, Anthony Joshua takes the L. So there's like that takes even more hype off of what this could be, because I assume if Joshua wins, we're hearing a ton this week about like this finally sets
Joshua
up
would be ringside.
the matchup. Yeah,
He'd be the guy that's sitting there waiting for Tyson Fury to come away picking at his chops.
Did you see Connor put out his stub for pay-per-view sales for the last fight, the Poirier fight?
I didn't see that.
It was like 1.5 million buys is what they did.
Are you surprised?
That's
a big number.
I mean, it's a trilogy fight. It still doesn't touch the reason I'm surprised is the ESPN Plus aspect of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like they got 1.5 million people who have paid for ESPN Plus subscriptions to sign up. So like
To
that,
kick in the money for a pay-per-view.
yeah, like that's pretty incredible. 1.5 mil. He's one of the only guys. I guess I say he's one of the only guys, but I'm pretty sure Masvidal has gotten kind of close now.
I think
with
Masvidal's
Usman.
gotten up there.
He's 1.1, 1.2. It is like, again, it's a trilogy. Connor's coming off of like losing after just coming back. They kind of ran it back quickly. I want to know what the last fight card did here, but I doubt there's any actual numbers for it.
We'll see.
It just says a lot to me to be like, Connor's that far ahead of the heavyweight champion in boxing.
And this goes back to our conversation about fighter pay, right? Like, it's aside from Conor McGregor, aside from Jorge Masvidal, is there anyone else that's even coming close to pulling that number? And the answer is no. Like, we know that they're doing anywhere between 300 to 400,000 pay-per-view buys if they get lucky. I'm just trying to pull up the info here.
Yeah.
This just has fighter pay.
Well, it said that it was going to do buyout somewhere or pay. Well, it says pay-per-view payout, but it doesn't say.
Yeah, it doesn't say buys.
Yeah, well, because like I said, I don't think that it's going to be available. I think it's a little too close still.
Yeah, it's salaries and payouts. They don't have anything for the actual pay-per-view buys.
And I'm assuming it's not that high. Like at most, I think it's probably 400,000 or 500,000, which is probably more comparable. Do you think this breaks 1 million this weekend?
No.
I think it probably does high.
Can I give you a number?
Yeah.
We're doing 600,000.
What is Canelo doing right now?
Canelo hits a couple million.
Canelo's tough because he's coming from streaming.
He's an international.
Well, I mean, of course, Tyson Fury is.
Well, yes, but
Tyson Fury should be the biggest boxer in the world,
Fury's
right?
Pay-per-view contracts work differently in the UK, whereas Canelo's getting
Well, they're not. Are they on pay-per-view in the UK?
No,
or is
they
it BT
have
Sport?
everything's to do BT and Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Canelo gets
I thought
pay-per-view.
Sky Sports was like fucking Canada, but maybe they share.
I don't. It could be. Canelo gets pay-per-view buys out of Mexico.
What's the arena that the Blue Jays play out of?
The Rogers Center.
Oh, it's not the Sky Dome.
I don't think so. No.
Did somebody used to play out of the Sky Dome?
Where's the Sky Dome, Lenny?
I don't know. You're writing Canelo with a bunch of equal signs. So don't come at me,
Shut
bro. Yeah, I don't know where the Sky. Oh, I know where it is. Seattle Mariners. Where do they play out
of? Jacobs Field.
How the fuck do you know that?
I actually just threw that out there.
Okay, because like, why would you like? I'm like, all of a sudden, you know a lot about stadium names. Oh, dude. Also, sorry for your loss.
We don't need to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about it because our buddy who talks a lot of baseball just looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Noah Syndergaard's coming back," and I was like, "Tom, we're 3 games away from the end of the season." I just named him. Fuck.
Yeah. Our mutual friend.
Our mutual friend.
That guy on MySpace.
I was just like, you're giving me news that's supposed to excite me. We're 12 games under 500 with
your
3
season's
games left.
Yeah, long.
No, it's
long
over. It's over.
Long over.
Yeah, no, it's done.
All right, so let's do this.
I'm gonna get those numbers for you.
Let's get an official prediction from you. Big fight this weekend. Bring her home, baby.
I'm bringing it home. I've got Tyson Fury winning this fight. I do think that the fight goes to a decision, but I think it is a clinic of how to take punches from a good boxer. I think Deontay Wilder gets a snuff beat out of him.
Do you think Wilder is going to show improvement?
The bar set really low.
Okay.
Improvement on his second fight or improvement on his first fight?
I mean, did he show improvement from first to second fight?
No.
Okay, so then I would say from the first and second combined, do you think he's going to be better? Like, he's had how long off now? A year and a half?
My concern is that the last person that he fought is Tyson Fury. We have nothing to go on that says he's gotten any better. I've said this already. The only way he improves is if he is somehow able to land combinations going backwards, which is going to be difficult. He has to gain Tyson's respect up front, which Tyson blew through all of his punches.
But if Tyson's out of shape, you think he's going to be able to keep him off? But hypothetically, if he's out of shape, is he going to be able to put Wilder on his back foot?
Probably not.
Like, that's the problem. Because Fury also, to me, as a novice, seems like a guy who's going to be willing to play off the ropes a little bit. So I agree. Tyson Fury by decision. I just would caution that keeping him on his back foot if he's out of shape is going to be very hard to do. Nick Diaz, which 6 years is a lot different. But
6 years is a lot different, and I think Tyson Fury, there's a giant gap between his boxing skill set and Deontay Wilder's.
That's very fair.
His ability to win in different styles is going to be how we know he wins this fight. We just have to see how he does it. Hey, Lenny. What's your opinion on DVRs?
I was going to say I've never had one, but I actually did have one for like 2 years, and I always felt like I wanted to use it a lot, but never actually did. Yeah.
You want to know why you don't? Because on-demand and wireless streaming has always been a thing for like the last 10 years.
Always been a thing for 10 years.
It's been a thing for 10 years.
Yeah, no, that's right, dude. That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a valid
don't
point.
correct me.
Yeah. Dude, okay, real quick. And I know you're trying to get to something here, but you've unlocked something in my brain. Do you remember how awesome On Demand was?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Like, that shit was sick. I haven't had cable for a while, and honestly, like, On Demand wasn't On Demand. But I remember, like, the original...
No, it was On Demand when it was available.
It was, but the OG, when they first rolled out, that you could go on to, like, HBO's tab.
And just go through their entire catalog.
Like, movies that you could just play in real time. Man. Dude, they'd have the adult section under
you gotta tell me, dude.
Cinemax, dude.
What was it, the Taxi Cab Confessions,
dude?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Real Sex 55.
Skinamax, bro.
Ooh.
What do you know
Hot
about
tamale.
That? This is how you know we're only children who had working moms.
Oh, I'm sure siblings watched porn together.
I don't think that's a genre, but I don't think that's a thing that people were actually doing.
Would they DVR it if they did?
I don't know. And again, it's on demand, so maybe you don't have to DVR.
That's a good point. You can delete the...
But I like where you were going with this, because you were about to say you can just delete it after you DVR it.
Yeah.
After you DVR it.
I
don't know why I stuttered there.
No, you got there.
If my brain were a DVR, Len, do you know what I'd like to delete?
Hit me, dude.
You should have said "hit me, baby" one more time. That'd have been a hot topic.
I watched like 20 minutes of the
Britney
documentary.
Versus Spears?
Yeah.
You bastard.
Made me feel really fucking bad.
Yeah, none of those documentaries are going to make you feel good. And neither will The Many Saints of Newark, Leonard.
I know that. I knew that definitively.
And you know what? You told me, and this was me, again, just being a bad friend and not listening to you. But I had other obligations to watch the movie and the film.
Well, you're from the neighborhood, right?
No, Leonard, I'm not from Jersey. I know you keep trying to put this on me.
No, but that looked like the pictures you showed me of your...
No, Lenny.
Your borough.
Stop doing this to me, all right? I don't tell you that you're from West...
That wouldn't work.
Area of where you're at.
Yeah, it just wouldn't work.
Because I know how much you love Western bleep. There you go.
Yeah, I input that.
Yeah, there you go.
In post.
No, man, I got to watch this film. Watched it on HBO Max. Didn't go to the theater or anything for that. And could I just tell you, complete and utter dog shit. Go ahead and ask me why.
Pond water? Why?
Sewage water, dude.
Why?
So in the trailers that we watched, would you say that the little that you know about The Sopranos, that it seemed like this film was going to be a prequel or an origin story of one Tony Soprano? Would you say that?
That's what I would have gathered.
Yeah. Wasn't that at all.
It was about somebody else.
It was about his uncle, who we know from the show, his name is Dickie Moltisanti. We know him to be the influence of Tony Soprano. Lenny, go ahead and ask me, did they show any connection or influence between the two characters?
Matt, did they show
No, they didn't, Leonard.
Okay,
they
didn't. I forgot what you said.
No, yeah, they didn't. I was going to cut you off anyway, so it didn't even matter. This movie, folks, if you haven't had an opportunity to watch it, I wouldn't recommend it. If you love The Sopranos, aside from some tongue-in-cheek references that you may remember from the show, this movie is just a terrible film. From hour 1 to hour 2, I don't have a lot of good things to say about it. And I will say that if you have watched it, let me know if I'm completely off the mark. Hit us in the chat.
You know what's really funny, Matt?
What's that, buddy?
Is like you say all that, but when they come out with another one, you're just gonna watch it.
Isn't that like your entire life when it
Yes,
comes to
no,
movies?
I know. Like we're fucking slaves, dude.
No, I know, but I felt like I needed to get this out there because I've spoken to a couple of people about the movie, and no
I
matter
feel like
how
everybody's liked it more than you have.
I don't agree with that at
Like
all.
I'm not saying people have told me it's good. Nobody's actually said to me that it was like good.
You're
but
saying that people have
I-
liked it more than I did,
yeah.
which is easy to say because I'm saying I didn't like it very much at all.
If you were gonna put a star on it,
Half a star, not even a full star.
I can't agree.
Well, you haven't seen it.
I can't agree.
You're not in the.
I
Position
wouldn't
that you
feel
could
right
agree.
about giving it half a star.
I've seen the movies that you've rated, and I've seen your scale. It's half a star, dude. I promise you.
Okay, if Us is the worst movie I've seen in a long time, where does it rate?
What would you say was the worst thing about Us?
The worst part of like
Yeah. What was the reason why you
the
gave
story,
it that ranking?
the message, the fucking I don't know, like the whole fucking thing. It
Yeah,
made no
okay.
goddamn sense.
None of it made any sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Take exactly what you're talking about, and that applies immediately to the Many Saints of Newark. The storyline is about a character that, while we're told who the character is, it doesn't actually register any connection to the original show. We're supposed to be under the impression that Tony Soprano is the son of the biggest head of the New Jersey crime family. John Soprano, who is played by John Bernthal in the movie,
Oh, Johnny Burns.
you wouldn't even know that he was the boss. He played very little part in the film at all. There was no nods to why Tony looked up to Dickie Moltisanti. There's no connection of how he got his start in the gangs. At the end of the film, spoiler alert, they're not even on speaking terms. So there's no connection between how his mentor helped him become the person that he ended up being in the show.
The one follow-up I had was, do you think it was hurt by being a movie?
I've heard a lot of things about it. It was supposed to be written in a 6-part series. Would have made a little bit more sense because the first hour of the film you don't really actually know what the story is. I just think that it's not well put together. I think you tried to draw a lot of the nostalgia of hiring James Gandolfini's son. It just didn't really bring a lot to the film. I thought he did a disservice to his father's character.
I'm not surprised by that. It seemed weird picking somebody who had no acting credentials.
And you could see like he tried hard to maybe capture who he thought his dad was as Tony Soprano. He just doesn't do a good job of it. I'm open to feedback. Let me know if I'm completely crazy, but all signs and things that I've heard have pointed to this just not being a good film.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, dude, because I know
Okay.
like you're a made man.
I had
normally.
extremely low hopes to begin with, but
But that's why it's so crazy to have it fall below that.
yeah, it fell way below the very low standards that I had actually set for it.
So I saw a movie this weekend. Well, I saw a couple movies, obviously, but
You're always
I
watching
watched
movies, dude.
one new movie that you have yet to get a chance to catch.
Yeah, I know, and I apologize. I'm a terrible friend. I said I would watch it, but I've taken in so much stuff, dude. My DVR is full.
You do look pretty bad, like in retrospect, since I found time to watch like a whole season of Stranger Things. But like,
Yeah,
it's cool.
hindsight being 2020, I look terrible.
Yeah,
I'm the person who called you a liar, and I look terrible.
that's yikes.
But what'd you watch?
The Guilty.
Oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I knew this.
The Guilty.
What did you think of it?
This is, I think, the same way I feel like I've heard that you're being a little harsher on this. Like, I think I might be off on my opinion on this movie because I came away from it not
Hating
liking
it?
it that much. And I've seen relatively positive reviews of the movie. I don't know. It's interesting in that I do like movies that are filmed. It's all filmed in one location. Like, you
Right.
don't see anything outside of the call room that Jake Gyllenhaal's working in. It's primarily
Thrilling.
it's primarily him
Yeah.
acting through this movie. There's a couple exterior characters that are just there and have a few lines in the movie.
And this
But-
was a Netflix film, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's primarily him being on a phone, talking to a couple different people on a phone, trying to work through a scenario. And I guess what it came down to was you don't know for a long time what the issue is with Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, you know something.
Is off.
Yeah, and I mean, the movie's called The Guilty, right? So it's like there's obviously a messaging there. But you know he's going through stress. There's a big day he has tomorrow that's going to decide if he can go back to being a regular cop, but you don't know what that's
Ooh.
because of. And you're
Strings
seeing him be
attached.
extremely stressed out while dealing with the calls on the phone. And through that, it just he comes off as unlikable, but I guess in the end he's not really meant to be likable. But I just
character.
maybe that's him being a good actor, and maybe this is where I think I might just maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't know. I didn't love it when I was done with it, but it's an hour and a half, so it's not really offensive in that. And it couldn't be longer, where it's only in one location. You can't really go longer than
You'd
an
be
hour
stretching
and a half.
it very thin.
You don't get the final, I guess, reveal. This isn't a spoiler, but like you don't like the story doesn't really start coming together until that final half an hour. Like, and it's not the whole build up's terrible to it. It's just it didn't do enough for me. So it's pretty mediocre, I would say. At the end of the day, I struggle to give things like really really harsh reviews because it, like I said, especially when it's an hour and a half. How critical
I
can
recall
I be?
you saying that you will never give a movie a bad review because you don't watch terrible movies.
Sure, and Jake Gyllenhaal is a good enough. I did say that. Jake Gyllenhaal, you're very good at quoting.
I am
me,
fucking
by the
holding
way.
you accountable for everything because
You-
I don't get to live anything down.
You log everything I say.
Yeah, dude, I'm a stenographer.
So Jake Gyllenhaal, always very very good actor, I think. So him doing this movie, like I appreciate that too. But the story didn't do a ton for me. So
Okay, that's understandable. So we both came away a little bit disappointed with what we watched.
me not clearly as much as
No,
you,
dude, I burned a jersey over it. For
not
sure.
good enough. Yeah.
We'll move on to something that's a little bit more positive, at least for me. So I had an opportunity to catch Star Wars Visions.
Did you?
I did.
Huh.
What was the? I don't like that gesture.
All right.
What's your beef, dude?
Nothing.
Get it out there.
No, just let's talk about it.
I am going to talk about it, but now you make me feel like I shouldn't.
No, let's talk about Visions, bro.
The hell's your problem?
No, just start talking about
All right, well, I'm going to talk about it. I came away with this absolutely, I don't want to say happy, ecstatic.
Which, did you really like the duel?
I thought the duel was a good episode.
How about the twins?
Twins, probably my least favorite. Go ahead and ask. So did
I
you watch?
think my least favorite.
You wanted to? No.
I think my least favorite.
Get the hell out of here. No, did you just look at the headlines?
No, I watched 5 episodes of Star Wars Visions.
All right, so you didn't finish it, but you.
No.
Okay, which ones did you watch?
The first 5 episodes.
Okay, which one
So
was
the-
your favorite?
the-
I can I guess which one was your favorite?
Sure.
The rock band
No
episode? No.
Nope.
Okay.
Didn't really get what that episode was.
Really?
Don't like
that was
I
a pretty cool episode. Okay.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. It was fine. I liked the duel because I liked the artwork in it. There was one specific episode. I don't remember it that well, honestly.
Okay.
But the twins. I feel like the artwork in the twins reminded me. I think that was the episode that
It's
reminded
very,
me of
Cartoon Network-ish.
well, I was even gonna say like one of the episodes really felt like Yu-Gi-Oh artwork, like a little bit. to me.
So that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about the series, but I'll let you continue.
Well, that was going to be my main takeaway. Obviously, like I only watched 5 episodes. My main takeaway was
There's
I
only 9,
appreciate it that the artistic like changes from episode to episode. It made it a lot easier with each episode being between like 12 to 15 minutes. I think that's like
I think
again
they're even
like,
shorter than that. Some of them.
not offensive. The rock band one, obviously, like I thought the music was fine. They captured like the genre that they were going for pretty well, and I think it's funny to take like punk music and use it like in that way.
I just thought you would have enjoyed that just for 2 reasons. I thought the animation style was really interesting.
Sure. It reminded me of like the Gorillas a little bit. Like
that's actually what I was gonna say,
Yeah, the
and
Gorillas.
it was more punk themed,
Mhm.
and they brought back 3, 2, 1 spoiler. I didn't know that they were gonna have tie-ins with actual Star Wars characters
So having Jabba.
going into it. Having Jabba and you get Boba in that episode.
I don't know if I remember Boba being
Boba Fett, he's
Yeah.
the bounty hunter.
No,
He's
I know
the one
who
who
he
brings
is.
the he brings them in. Yeah.
Okay.
Going back, you
I might have
remember
missed
it.
that. I might have missed the very beginning part there.
But it's cool that you remember Jabba. So that's
So
pretty interesting.
I like that. I do like the idea of like we have to play to get his approval. Like that. That's funny. The first episode, I thought it was an interesting one to go with the duel for the first one because I did like the artwork as it went through, like the contrast. With the
I thought it
color.
was interesting that they started with that.
It's just because it's not. I think the other episodes that follow it are more visually eye-catching. Like in the initial, like That one's the most, like, maybe the most dense in terms of story.
It's a very slow build up, and the climax is very quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Like it read more like, I feel like it read more like a comic book than it did like it was more acted like a comic book to me.
I'm gonna tell you what, dude. I have panty pudding right now. Just
you shit yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited. Just the fact that you actually watched some of this
surprises,
shit,
motherfuckers.
This is the second one, dude.
I told you, dude.
When you start realizing how terrible a friend you are,
I told you I was bringing.
You start making better decisions.
Can I make you feel better?
Yeah,
can I make you feel better?
Try.
This is my actual goal.
No,
because I have ulterior motives for why I do anything.
Well, no, you're gonna make me watch a whole bunch of terrible shit.
No. That's not why I did this.
Oh yeah, sure.
What I actually anticipated happening.
This guy's unbelievable.
What I actually anticipated happening was we were gonna do what we watched, and I was gonna get this great moment where I got to talk about how I'm like the number one Star Wars fan in the room, because I thought you hadn't watched it yet.
No.
And thank God I ran the scenario by somebody yesterday. And they were like, "Oh yeah, no, he watched."
Oh, that motherfucker! I know exactly who this kid. Oh,
he watched all of it. He watched Star Wars Vision. And I was like, "Oh, he?"
Gave me up. Dude.
I was like, "Well, this is perfect," because I had already watched it. I watched this right after I finished Stranger Things. And I kept it in my back pocket.
Maniacal mother effer, dude.
But yeah, he let me know ahead of time, so I was able to come in here but at least I'm being honest in the moment.
I don't like
right?
how much preparation you've put into this. I actually quite frankly hate it.
Yeah, so dude, I watched something Star Wars, as I'm commonly known to not watch anything Star Wars, and I think this was an interesting thing to jump into. I
thought it would be something you would like.
I'll tell you this: I'm gonna finish it. Like I think awesome. It's short enough that I'll jump in, and it's definitive enough. Like I don't have to try and keep up with it after this or anything. So.
Yeah, and I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised by the next series of episodes that you watch, man. Mm-hmm. That was a pleasant surprise, man. I'm glad.
Yeah, dude. What's up, Archer?
But I'd love to get anyone else's takes. We'd love to hear from you guys. A very interesting project that Disney launched. And
it is, dude, as a person who has no stake in the game, if you haven't watched like any Star Wars, you're not really interested in Star Wars, but you like interesting animation and you're cool with like short stories. I think short stories are a much more appealing way to do some stuff too. Being able to show more of an anthology like that, I would recommend it, definitely. Yeah,
so I wanted to reference some of the animation styles. So we talked about there being gorillas being one of them. They also had an Invader Zim style animation, which looked pretty interesting. What is it called? The Boondocks. They had, you haven't watched it yet, it's in some of the later series, a lot of great animation styles. There wasn't one that I looked at that I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. And if there was one that was close to that, it was The Duel. Because I thought it's very sketchy.
Dry. Yeah,
it's very pencil focused.
You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember, so when I was in like high school, I would like make videos with my friends, like little sketch videos, things like that. And it was right when Nikon cameras had come out with the feature in the camera itself where you could do black and white but pick selective color.
Yes.
It reminded me of that because it was just like little, you would have the lightsaber was blue or red, but everything else was black and white. I do like the
gun shooting too. Like you'd see the little lasers. But
R2D2 had like I like that take on R2D2 too.
R-Duo.
Yeah. And like the lights on him being different colors. I also like when he opens up the cape at the end.
Oh yeah, and you get to see all the different sabers. Yeah. There are a lot of things that I think, whether you're a Star Wars fan or you're someone, like you said, that's new to the franchise, there's a lot of things to take away, and I can't wait to talk to you when you actually finish and get to the 9th episode.
I'll get through it, yeah.
Man, I feel like I came in here with nothing. Like I'm at the potluck with cups and plates. Dude.
A lot of ups and downs in this episode. A lot of peaks and valleys.
Yeah, you just when I thought I couldn't get any more mad at you, totally redeem yourself.
We couldn't have scripted this better.
But it does kind of concern me a bit because now I don't know what you're expecting of me, and it's gonna probably get weird.
I do have a couple IOUs built up now.
I hate you.
Yeah, I have some receipts.
The fact that there is an ulterior motive to it is what infuriates me.
No, like I told you, I already told you what my ulterior motive is. I wanted this great moment where I could like lord over you being like #1 Star Wars podcast fan out here, dude.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna let you get away with that. Dude.
Yeah,
I had already gone 1 week where I kind of felt like I'd done a disservice to the people, so I had to redeem myself. So can we come together on something that I kind of had a similar situation. I felt like you would have gone into this week thinking that I didn't watch this.
Well, you told me you were going to, and I am proud of you, and this is redemption in a way for you because you've gone to the movies once with me for Shang-Chi. But this is awesome because you got out to the movies. I don't know how you managed it.
And
I'm sure it was a process.
Bro, it was 100% out of spite because I went to IMAX.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Not Dolby?
Oh, I couldn't get the Dolby. It would have been way too, like, out of the way for me. But I got into an IMAX, bro. And how'd
the big screen treat you?
They've upgraded since I've been there last.
Really? What were the upgrades?
New seats, interesting
Recliners?
seats. They don't recline all the way. It's more of a pressure sitter.
So I think it's the one AMC IMAX or Showcase.
I want to say it's Showcase.
Okay, I haven't been to one of those in a while.
Yeah,
but I assume it's very similar to what the AMC ones are now.
Comfy seats though.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining at all.
Was it a firm seat, like more of a memory foam?
Oh no, it's not. It's like firm but good.
Okay,
like the good kind of firm.
That's how the AMC.
I don't like the
ones are.
soft, like the cushy ones. Not
because like
fan.
all of their other theaters have more of the couch seats.
Yes,
but the IMAX ones, because they fit more seats in there, I think that's why they don't let them.
And it's also because I think of the way you're facing the screen to is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, man, I enjoyed the experience.
Did we mention we're talking about Venom?
No, we keep like hinting towards it, but we actually haven't said it.
So we both saw Venom, which is awesome because we don't normally get this opportunity like a week unless something comes out on home, like straight to VOD or whatever.
Catch it,
we don't always get the opportunity, so this is really
VOD
great.
Sounds disgusting.
Video on demand, baby.
It's disgusting. Yeah, man. I'll preface it with, I think going into a movie with open expectations is extremely important. Staying open-minded is extremely important. That being said, there were things I liked and there were things I really didn't like.
Well, let's stick on something for the moment then, because we can do a little bit more on detail on this. And warning ahead of time, I'm going to try and stay away from spoilers for a while.
I didn't want to do any spoilers.
I think at some point towards the end, we're going to have to spoil some stuff.
Okay. We'll give fair
warning. To start with the movies versus at home, do you think that the way this movie is, a lot of it's dark, like in terms of like it's nighttime, and a lot of it you're dealing with a character like Venom. Seeing in the movie theater, especially on an IMAX screen or on like a Dolby Vision screen, like I saw it on, having that color contrast, the same way that I'm lucky that I get to watch a lot of my movies at home on an OLED. Like that color contrast for movies like this, for a movie like Black Panther, I think is really important.
Extremely important. It's crucial.
And do you think you would have lost something having watched? You have a good TV at home.
Yeah, we've broached the subject before, man. We're like, as good as our televisions are, there is just a certain element that these films are made for when it comes to how you take it in, and having the color contrast, having it not be overexposed or oversaturated, it does create a completely different experience. We talked about Shang-Chi and the way that you took that film in 2 different movie theaters. If I wanted to make sure I watched this film in IMAX, 1, despite you, but 2, to get the best possible experience. I didn't want to be focused on, the picture didn't look as good or the sound didn't seem as good. I wanted to take it in, again, open-minded, but in the best possible way.
So with that being said, having watched it in probably the best scenario possible for how you could have watched it, right? What did you think of the visuals in this movie?
I think there was a lot left to be desired.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think that you had a good opportunity to work, and you mentioned dark visuals. There were some visuals where there was plenty of lighting, and it really didn't seem like either the CGI or the way that they synced up the scenes really meshed or worked together. Would you agree?
Yeah, I feel the same way in this movie as I kind of did with the first one, in that Venom, the character itself on screen, looks a little too CGI for me.
Too much.
And it's a little comic booky. It looks a little bit more out of the vein of like Spider-Man from 2001.
Yeah.
It looks more like that type of CGI than it does for what I can get out of a lot of Marvel stuff now.
Yeah, big time.
So that's maybe my issue. I also don't love... I found myself thinking about this while I was watching it. The over-the-shoulder... Did you notice like when they follow Venom, when he's running across roofs and like kind of going through the city, it's your third person over the shoulder look. I don't necessarily love that. Like I don't know if I want them to film directly on Venom or if I want them to do like a first person thing, but it's not a very creative camera angle to me. It doesn't showcase like the character and like the ferocity of the way it does climb and stuff is different than Spider-Man, so I can see that, but
I would
it doesn't
like
do it for me.
I would like to know what your
Hence
source
just it's
like.
shit.
I would like to know what your source material like. What are you looking at visually that is helping you put this together?
Have
like,
you read a lot of like Venom comics when you were a little kid?
I've read more Venom comics as an adult than I did as a kid.
Is that something then potentially in the graphic novels of the comics that is that a common way they show Venom? Is it from over the...
No, but the interesting way is how he travels. It's very... They did that very well.
Like he tears buildings apart.
Yeah, he's not like...
There's no finesse to it.
No, he's not elegant in the way that he's traveling, right? The fact that he's just kind of creating carnage, I hate that I just used that word, is that he's just creating a rampage everywhere he's going is very realistic. The issue that I find and why I say I'd like to know what you're looking at to give you the visuals is I would kind of compare it to the Hulk. Like if the Hulk is running through things, jumping from building to building, that's been done before. It's not that difficult to make it look good.
It's also funny that you say the Hulk, because you know what I said Spider-Man's what it reminded me of, but maybe it reminds me a little bit of like Edward Norton.
Oh, I was going to say
Incredible
Eric
Hulk.
Bana, Incredible Hulk.
I'd have to go rewatch that to see how I really
that's
feel
way
about
more
that one.
CGI, I think, than the Edward Norton is. But that's where I would say there's a scene, and I'm trying not to spoil it. So there's the first time that we get to see the villain, and he's basically wreaking havoc in a building.
Mm-hmm.
The transition scenes from him going from floor to floor, and even when he's throwing things, nothing looks good. Like there's no... It's not. This isn't the first time we've done CGI. So what is it that you're looking at, or what direction are you looking?
I think you just see that like
caused
different companies deal with different issues as far as that. Like different companies are good at it. It all depends who's working on the computer side of it, I suppose. But I think it suffered from the same issue that the first Venom suffered from, in that the final battle is just too
blobs.
It's just like, and this one was probably better.
Because of the color contrast.
Definitely that. But it just, it's just, it bothers me a little bit. It doesn't work as well. Moving on, obviously, like visuals played a big part in that. I remember reading a review right after I saw it that was like, it's light on laughs, light on action, and something else like lackluster altogether is basically like the review. I think it was like IGN did that review, which they suck.
But I was going to say that's pretty consistent with what they do with a lot of those movies.
So where do you land on the actual story here? Like the character work, what they gave us as far as the actual movie itself, where do you kind of fall?
This was an upgrade from the first one, because the first one, I didn't really give a shit who the bad guy was at this point. Like there wasn't, to me, I can't remember who played Riot in the first Venom movie. What was the other symbiote?
Yeah, no, I know what
but I can see you kind of going
the
through
guy
the paces,
in my head,
right?
but I can't figure out.
I didn't give two craps about it being him.
The name.
The storyline, or the issue that I have with the storyline in this Let There Be Carnage film, is we didn't have a lot of direction. I didn't know where we were going with it, what the end game was, and for it to just be something where the characters wanted to get revenge in some way, shape, or form, and then the storyline between Eddie Brock and Venom itself, we always knew what that was going to end up being. Like, there's no mystery to it.
All right, so you left me with a lot to unpack here. First of all, there's for an hour and a half movie, there is a lack of direction. I would 100% agree. From a progression of story perspective, it's a little jumbled. You did mention the Venom Eddie Brock dynamic. To me, what I think the major storyline of this movie and what I took it as, you could view this movie in a couple different ways. It's a poorly put together action movie, comic book movie, is probably a fair assessment. I think if you view this movie in the lens of a rom-com, you will enjoy this movie significantly more.
You're an idiot.
And it's a rom-com between Eddie Brock and Venom.
In Venom, yeah.
Almost to the point where, Matt, I don't necessarily understand why Michelle Williams is in this movie other than...
She's the transport vehicle for Venom. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, like she's only in this movie as a device to get when they're fighting.
Yeah, to get them back together.
Bring them back together, right? And it's fun. Like, and trust. Like, here's the thing: that review I said about ING, like, I don't agree. Like, I thought the movie was actually
IGN.
relatively. Yeah, I knew something.
Sorry.
That's why I said it twice, because I knew something felt weird. I thought the movie was actually pretty funny. Like,
the Eddie Brock and Venom dynamic is the only thing good about the film.
I thought Venom at the nightclub, while extremely cheesy, and I said to myself, if somebody just walked in and saw this part of the movie, they'd fucking be like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But I thought within the context, it was funny. Is it dumb? 100% dumb. But it was kind of funny.
The funniest part about it is that we're not addressing how many people he killed.
Yeah, just dropping them on the street.
3, 2, 1, spoiler. Yeah. He murdered like a whole bunch of people just to get back to Eddie Brock.
Are you good, bro?
Yeah, I went down the wrong path.
All right, so Matt ate some chocolate that tasted like mint. He's just been freaking out for 3 minutes now. That's why he's like, if you've watched him slowly like divulge into a crazy man on the side here, that's why. It's just chocolate.
It's not a good time.
You know they have like specifically have chocolates that give you after you finish meals at restaurants that taste the same way as what you just ate.
I don't eat those.
You don't? Those are amazing.
No, I hate those.
You're fucking wrong. The whole
mint
thing's,
chocolate.
You know the ones
disgusting.
in the little green packaging people know at home? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
If anybody eats mint chocolate, get that out of my face.
Do we need to take a minute because your voice sounds like it's like going.
My voice got high.
It's like I can just feel the tightness. Dude.
No, we're good.
You feel tight.
No, I am a little bit tight.
So the love story here, I love when he ends up in Mrs. Chen too, which is also very funny.
The fact that she's involved with them too, kind of crazy, because her whole we gotta stop. God damn it!
We'll be right back. Defeated by chocolate.
God damn it! I felt okay.
No, dude, I heard it in your voice.
You gotta edit that out.
I'm not going to.
I hate that I have no power here.
Do you want to address that?
Yeah, I plan on addressing it, but I would really like for you to just cut it out.
Where would you like me to cut? Is what I want to know.
Right before I started fucking coughing my throat out.
No, so I'm at least gonna get it to where you said
Mrs. Chan.
No, I'm gonna cut when you say we're gonna need to stop. That's probably where I'm gonna cut.
And we're back, everybody. I apologize for the little episode that I had just now. But like I was saying,
are you speaking in this timbre in your voice?
Yeah, I'm trying to be calm because
you don't want to choke yourself up.
Clearly I was freaking out inside. I was like, dude, I'm not going to be able to get through this. But it's funny enough that I was choking on chocolate when that seems to be the only thing that Venom can eat.
What a tie-in,
That's
dude.
hilarious.
That's fucking great.
But no, I love the dynamic between Mrs. Chan, Venom, and Eddie because she's kind of got them by the nuts. She's like, oh, I'll spread all this shit. I'll tell everybody.
I think in general, honestly, the way Tom Hardy and Venom play off of all the characters that they have to play off of is very good in general.
Really good.
I think so when I left the movie, I saw it with D, or Ange, depends who you ask.
We're calling him Ange.
Yeah,
100%.
It depends who you ask. So I saw it with Ange, and we were leaving the theater, and I was listening to. I was like, I never really talk when I'm leaving a theater because I don't want people to hear my opinion on the movie. Because it's weird because I actually just don't want them to think they can jump in on my conversation, and I don't want to be embarrassed when I like something that other people don't. But a lot of the people there were like, that movie was trash. Didn't like it. Blah blah blah. I actually left it and was like, I didn't hate it. It wasn't good. Like, it's like very mediocre to me, but I found myself being like, the most forgiving aspect to me was anything that Tom Hardy did in this movie, I mostly enjoyed.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's him. I don't think the issue is him and Venom, the character per se. I think
it's what they've built around him.
None of it makes any sense.
Sony has mostly shown that without the oversight of Marvel policing what they're doing, they're just not putting together consistent stories.
This is something that you got to give up ownership of at this point.
So
I know,
I just want to say, I mentioned Michelle Williams. I think she's a very talented actress, and it just seems odd to me to put somebody like that in your movie for what she's actually in the movie for. Do you think it would have been better potentially to move on to a female that he could actually pursue a relationship with in this movie? Or do you think that would have taken away from what is a rom-com between him and Venom.
I think that's the biggest detractor, is that we don't really have any character progression for him or for...
He mostly feels like the same person that was in the last movie.
My understanding is that she already broke his heart in the first one when she left him.
And he hasn't moved on. He still isn't... Like, they try to be like, he's so successful now, but he lives... And I get why he lives in the same apartment that he did, because, like, they're just going to destroy it anyways, so what does it matter? But it is a little weird to be like, oh, he's so successful now, and, like, Venom has made him so much more successful, and that's what they're arguing over. When there's nothing that he still looks like he's... like wearing dirty clothes. He still looks like
he doesn't look like he has his life together.
No, like he looks broken when you just look at him, and it's because he's got this fucking thing living inside of him, and I get that, but...
And we talked a little bit about that when we watched the trailer. We were talking about how it just looked like this thing was running his life, and we get the in-depth story for it, but outside of those two, there's not really much to look forward to here. Woody Harrelson, while I'm a huge fan of Woody, there wasn't much that he really brought to this character.
Probably wasn't cast well.
He just didn't bring anything to the character.
He just played himself, and I think what happened here, and I think we've probably said this when we watched the trailer and when they cast him at the end of it. Watching the way he's portrayed here, it's just that the directors saw Woody Harrelson and wrote a character, basically like having him talk like the way Woody Harrelson would talk, but he doesn't really work as Carnage, right?
No.
The little love story they carve out for him doesn't really work for me.
Didn't need it.
It was very obviously built as a way for, like, how quickly in it did you put together a couple things? First of all, the cop.
That was
and
a
who
dead
he
giveaway.
was. Like,
when you focus in on his badge for 5 seconds, that's a dead giveaway.
The hearing aids, I was like, oh, like that's why he's got the hearing aids in, like whatever. But it's also like, oh, we need another device, storytelling device on how Venom can beat Carnage, right? And the sound thing was the easiest thing they could come up with. They rehashed the bell thing, like that we've gotten. I don't know, like how much more can you really do with that?
The dead giveaway, Len, is when we're told sound and fire, right? Like sound and fire, you know what
I like
you're going to be able to do.
The regular dude, Michelle Williams' husband.
Dave?
Dave.
Yeah.
Sounds
Nails it.
I liked him getting that, like, one moment of like, okay, like this guy can be useful, because they basically just made fun of him.
Yeah, they made him comic relief, and he was able to kind of deliver at the end. You can see why she picked him, maybe. I don't know. But some things I would like to talk about that I think they did okay with, and the things that I liked. I think the Venom being the one who's kind of got his head on straight when it comes to doing the actual investigations.
Yeah.
Really cool, right?
Like him noticing all of that stuff and then being able to draw it out and like...
That's
awesome.
Love that scene. I thought it brought a lot to the character, and it actually helps you understand who Venom actually is, right? Like he's this outcast in his own world too, but... These two coming together isn't by mistake. They are actually perfect together. The other thing that I thought they did really well was 3, 2, 1 spoiler, showing what Carnage can do.
How much more powerful. I like that's in the trailer. Right,
but you get to see a little bit more of it.
I love that he's like, oh, that's a red one. Like,
oh, dude, when he zaps himself back in immediately, and he's like, no, I didn't. Even when he's yelling, he's like, die, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, no, we're gonna die. Again, they do such a good job of helping you understand. Aside from it looking very CGI, it showed you what a threat Carnage actually was, and that's great because that directly correlates to how that plays in the comics.
But it's frustrating because at the end of the day, he gets defeated in a very like...
It's very final. I hate the fact that he just gets dealt with in that way.
Yeah, and then gets stomped out, I believe, right? Yeah.
No, I didn't want to give it away, but yeah he just gets eaten.
Yeah, well, he already 3, 2, 1 spoiled it.
Yeah, no, I know.
If they didn't want to hear it, I think they would have been gone by now.
Whatever. Yeah, so Venom eats Carnage, and essentially
that's what it is. Yeah,
like, oh,
he absorbs him. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was how he became, like, I mean, now that we're just, we can spoil whatever. I think it's inevitable, honestly, and that wasn't that big of a spoiler, because, like, at the end of the day,
it's going to come out either way.
Well, and Venom won at the end. Like, you watched a comic book movie.
Well, remember when I said we know exactly how this ends?
Yeah.
Them being separated and coming together, it was only a matter of time.
This is where I would really just caution anybody. 3, 2, 1 spoiler coming out on the other end of this. We are going to talk about the post-credit because
Yeah,
I'd
I mean
like
that's the biggest thing that we can talk about.
So I'll stop here. There's always time codes down below, so like I'll make sure to time code post this spoiler.
And
so
honestly,
you
know
can
what
skip
we're
it.
about, people.
Yeah,
like,
no,
get with
fair
the program.
warning at this point. Right?
I know. Sorry, I just wanted to be aggressive.
And I feel like probably not the best kept secret. Anyways, they basically sold this. The major selling point of this movie was the post credit.
Tom Hardy's been honey dicking everybody for a week now.
So, what did you think?
Interesting.
I mean, I knew
we knew what it was.
I had a good feeling that this was going to be what the post credit was, and it wouldn't be sold on this if it wasn't that we were going to be getting the tie-in that we are, especially knowing what we know about Phase 4 of Marvel.
I guess I didn't like the lever pulling. So there's no reason to think that Venom couldn't be part of. Bailey needs some attention.
Yeah, Matt's not the only one who's having a moment.
Yeah, maybe she got into the chocolate, dude.
How are you doing deep in your throat?
All right, Len. Bailey's all taken care of?
Yeah, what most people won't realize there is like normally it's very quick in between her coming in really quickly saying hello and leaving. This was a solid
hour
gap between what was going on here. So we're gonna try and get back into it.
No, but I think we're okay here, man. We were talking about the post-credit scene in Venom, so we're still spoiling stuff. But I was going on about how I didn't like the idea that the Doctor Strange universe manipulation was what kind of allowed Venom to be part of the universe.
To be fair, that's not necessarily confirmed is what did it.
The room changes.
I know. But like we didn't see Doctor Strange.
That's a heavy insinuation, my friend.
I agree. And like, well, how else would this have happened? Like, how else would they have been in the same universe? Because like you would have, Spider-Man would know about Venom. Venom would know about Spider-Man unless they were.
No, I know. And to me, it just kind of seems like hopefully a waving of the white flag for Sony, and maybe they're just saying, "It's all yours. Take it."
Do you think with this, like, so the debate I was having after the movie is this going to be a part of the upcoming Spider-Man movie, or are we going to be getting another scene, maybe post-credit of that movie, setting up a Venom movie with Spider-Man in it?
I think you'd have to lean heavily the other way, because the idea
of
of
Spider-Man in Venom, I'm sure it wouldn't be like a
you're right. The idea of Sony having any control over Spider-Man again is probably done with. But I do like my hope is that we see him in No Way Home, because then that, we've talked about the Sinister Six being the major player, and that far unbalances the scales as far as villains versus Spidey, and we don't think he's going to have the help of the Avengers, so there maybe does have to be somebody out there who can give him a hand. Yeah,
I mean, so they definitely hint that he's not really an enemy of Spider-Man. It's just
come on, man, you know the story of Venom.
Yeah, like I like that he. I like that it's like very apropos to how this character is in the movies. Like he's like aroused by the fact that he sees this person on the screen.
I love it because the only other person that we've seen him get excited like this for is Anne, right? Like it's the only other person. And I also just love the idea that like while he's living inside of Eddie, he's thinking about being with Peter Parker. Like I love that idea that Eddie just can't win. Like Eddie can't get anybody to stay with him.
Yeah, I really like that, and like that's fun. And I didn't really think about what you were talking about there, because my fear would be, and I'm sure this has got to be a fear across the board, is like we already have had an issue where Spider-Man 3, the original Spider-Man 3, had too much, right? And it was being pulled in a lot of different directions. It had too many villains, too many characters. The second Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, suffered from the same issue. If we add Venom into already, to your point, crowded backfield, is it going to be too much? And is too much sometimes just too much?
Well, I think in the great words of the Karate Kid, too much good stuff can sometimes be bad stuff.
Yes.
And I think in this case, we've seen enough Marvel films where there can be a lot of characters involved. And they've somewhat managed to do a decent job of kind of keeping everything together, a la like Civil War.
Sure, Marvel may be the exception to this rule.
Right, and I think that if anyone can do a good job of keeping all of these characters contained to a point where there is a point to all of them being on the screen, I think they could do it. I do think that the concern is validated because we don't really know, like we know Venom is an anti-hero or anti-villain, but we don't know with his insatiable lust for Peter Parker what that initial introduction is going to look like.
Yeah.
Right? He's not just going to come here and be like, "Hey, Peter, I'm here to help."
Is he immediately going to be perceived as a villain?
Yeah,
anyway?
we need to try and see what that buildup is going to look like, and I think that you've really only got one shot at how you introduce that.
But can you flesh all of that out in one? I get like
In a
because like the
2-hour
people
film?
the people I talked to after the movie all said like no, it's like because I was like immediately like, it seems like he's got to be in this movie.
Yeah.
They were like, well, no, it's got to be a post credit. Like you won't have him in the movie. And I was like, all right, that does make some sense. Tease them in their own movie. But I'm kind of agreeing with you that it's like the way Venom's lusting for Peter. There's no way that I could believe that he would just appear in this universe, know that person's real, and not immediately be like, I've got to go check it out. Unless they're going to tell me that Eddie's been telling him, like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, stopping it.
You could be led to believe that, but if we're going based on the comics, which, we would hope that they try and stay true to, that's a constant battle that Venom always wins. There's a reason why Venom gets involved with Spider-Man in the first place, and it's because he's found his ideal host.
And it's not Eddie.
Right, and it's not Eddie. So that's where I would hope that I'm right, but not. It's not to say that I want those people to be wrong, but the idea that you're going to give us a post-credit for a post-credit doesn't really seem like that's a good payoff.
Yeah, I think the tough part is, like, what's the make good on... Because, like, I feel like Sony's always going to want something back in return on these types of things, so that's where I thought it could be a post-credit.
We'll kick you a nickel, dude.
That's where I thought it would be a post-credit, maybe, because then you could sell a co-produced movie between Sony and Marvel for the team-up movie,
Let's just say that whatever the result is, I'm just hoping that they don't fuck it up.
Yeah. So final, before we move on to trailers, everybody's favorite thing we do here. What's your? I guess I don't know what we want to grade. Let's hold off on grading. I just will say it's a mediocre movie because we're making some modifications to our scoring system.
Yeah, scoring system is under construction, but right now I think it's just safe to say that the box office numbers kind of surprise you, right? Like, given what we know and what our take is on the film, we are a little bit shocked to see that Venom's done, it looks like 90 million box office, which is breaking the records for box office during the pandemic.
Do you know that they weren't the number one movie globally, though?
Who was? Was it Shang-Chi?
Nope.
Shang-Chi?
No, it was a movie called China vs. America.
Is that a documentary?
No, it's a Korean War epic.
Wow, that's 60 degrees of separation.
Yeah, no. So apparently, that's why I want to talk about this. It's kind of interesting.
Lay it on me.
So the Chinese box office, it demolished the Chinese box office with a stunning $237 million opening frame, including $12.9 million in IMAX. That's
what they do in Dolby.
That's more than Venom, No Time to Die, and Dune earned worldwide combined. But it's weird to say those because I guess I didn't know Dune was already available.
Yeah, Dune came out like 2 weeks ago.
In what countries do you know?
I have no idea. I can probably look it up though.
So we could see the movie could make between $690 and $840 million plus in 2021 and 2021. It looks like Chinese box office is doing crazy money right now because my God, am I?
Hey, let's try that again.
Dude. Detective Chinatown 3 did $690 million and Hi Mom did $840 million.
Are the numbers over there kind of pad statted a little bit?
So the only reason I was going to introduce that concept when I read $237 million.
Because I feel like that's just one movie.
Fucking crazy to hear that. But the problem is, Matt, you know who this article was written by?
John Smith.
No.
Sorry.
And maybe I called it the wrong name. Oh. China vs. America, Korean War epic. The name of the movie is called The Battle at Lake Changjin.
Okay.
So
that's
I missed
like
that
weird
part of it.
turn.
Either way, the only reason
Dune isn't out in the United States yet.
Well, no, I knew it wasn't out in the U.S. So I was asking.
Well, no. I'm saying like they haven't released any.
What country is it available in? That's what I was. See, bad Google.
I was just looking for it, dude.
This is on Forbes, everybody. Just so we can check my stats. Like it was on Forbes. That's why I'm stating it as fact. Forbes Facts. That's a new segment, reoccurring segment. Forbes Facts, where I'll talk about the highest grossing movies and the highest grossing celebrities.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stop wasting
Yeah,
my time on this.
we're good on
it
this.
opened in 17 countries. But I
Still
can't
have a
find it.
posting up there for a stats guy because we've lost ours.
We've also got a posting for a co-host because I'm fucking awful at this.
No,
apparently.
dude, you're not giving yourself enough credit.
No,
You've had. This might be your best episode yet.
I am such a basic bitch. Buy a Mac and just make everybody.
Okay,
think
can
I
I
know
just
what
say
I'm
where
doing.
it says an IndieWire there?
No, I know. I was about to click on
Dune
that.
has opened in 17 countries.
But it doesn't list the countries.
I don't. I mean, that lets me know still, like, because I was
That it's
just
out there.
I think it's always interesting. Generally, things open first here and then become open other places in the world.
France, Germany, Russia, Italy, and elsewhere through Thursday.
Cool. All right, so yeah, mediocre on Venom for me.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And let's get into trailers, huh?
Yeah, this is what the people have been waiting for, man.
We have a lot of stuff written down. I don't know how much we're going to talk about.
No, there's 3 things that we're going to talk about, Len, and I'm going to kick it off with the first one.
I only saw one good. Okay, I might have seen 2 good trailers.
Well, no, yeah, we saw 2 good trailers. But the one that I'm going to talk to is, I didn't time it out, and I don't know how long that trailer was, but I feel like you owe me a couple minutes of my back on my life.
From what?
The Lamb.
Well, I think it's just called Lamb.
Lamb.
See, you're down on this.
For anybody who hasn't seen this trailer,
Man, stop. Okay, stop here and watch it.
stop here and watch it. 3, 2, 1, spoiler. Come back when you're done watching it because the shit gets weird. All right, buddy. I'm gonna acknowledge this right now that once you get through this trailer and you see what the precipice or what the premise of the story is, sorry, not even the same word, what the premise of the story is, the only logical conclusion that you can come to is that someone fucked a goat or a lamb.
It's so nuts that your fucking mind immediately went there because it didn't even cross my mind that somebody fucked a goat.
How do you get a half goat or a half lamb, half person?
Because I don't know if there actually is a half goat, half person.
You think they put a mask on it?
I think they're crazy. Like I
Did
almost
you see
feel
the
like
hoofs for arms?
Yeah, but it progressed very weird because the first minute of that trailer, that's just a regular old goat, and then they slowly get crazier.
See the head.
The dad's always been a little skeptical. If you look at the way he's looking,
Oh, dude, he's looked nervous the entire time.
this would be a really good Maury episode.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
You
dude.
are
You're
the father.
You're the one who immediately watched this trailer and was like, "Wow, somebody fucked a goat."
Well, yeah, that's the only logical conclusion you can get to when there's an upright walking person with a goat on their head.
But we saw the goat get born from a goat.
Yeah, how else would it be born, Len?
No, but the guy didn't look like he was confident that that it was his kid. But wouldn't he know if he fucking?
I'm sure he would know that if he fucked
do you think
a goat.
they artificially inseminated a goat?
I don't think it was artificial at all.
You think he did it?
I think
just
he had
doesn't
a
remember
lonely
it.
night and drank a lot of wine, heard some noises coming from the barn.
No, but he doesn't think it's his, and the mom.
I don't
looks
care if he
very
doesn't think it's
confident.
his.
I'm interested in this movie.
This is the
I'm
equivalent.
fairly intrigued.
This is the equivalent of a man cheating on his wife, has a child out of wedlock, has to bring it home for his wife to take care of. It's exactly what this movie is, dude.
But she's the one who gives birth to like she helps the thing be born.
You know, I get that. She was the wet nurse. The lamb or the goat wasn't going to take care of a half-breed.
Do you think it was so? Let's move on because we can't just talk about fucking goats this whole time.
You brought this on here, dude.
This
is your thing.
What do you think all the other goats are doing? Are they jealous?
Yeah.
Or do they want him back? Like, I'm confused. What do the goats want? Like, because all the goats seem really mad.
The goats are pissed because he's hiding a secret of what he's been doing to those goats.
Do you think he talks? He didn't talk at all in the trailer. That's why I'm not sure if anybody fucked
I think
him.
it's a she.
It's a she?
Yeah. Pretty sure. There's a dress on it.
I don't know what was so concrete about it being a she. I'm trying to figure that out.
It had a bow in its head.
Fuck, did it?
Yeah.
Huh.
You gotta pay attention to detail.
Damn.
Dude. But listen, man, I am very upset with you for even bringing this up because we had almost gotten through all of our trailers, and you were like, "Just do me a favor and write down Lamb trailer."
I don't even. Well, no, you know, that's not even really what happened. We were trying to find out what's coming out this week. And that's on like when you go to AMC's page for coming soon and you're looking at the dates, that comes out on October 8th. So if anybody's really interested, it is not in English. You're probably not surprised by that. Like, tough to get. Although I say that, but like Kevin Smith did that movie Tusk. So, there's also that movie Teeth about a vagina that eats stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah, I just go back to my previous statement where I
what
think
would
you owe me
feed
some
your
time.
pet vagina?
My pet vagina?
Like, if you had to... Never mind.
hot dogs.
It's a little too on the nose.
I
was thinking that mine would be a vegetarian.
Then it'd smell bad.
Just greenery. I'd feed it a lot of greenery.
You're going vegan veg, dude?
Yeah.
I don't think that's
no dairy products in this thing.
Someone could write a book on that about how that doesn't end well. But no, man, we'll move on from the Lamb trailer.
Please, honestly, take a look.
I want you guys to watch the trailer.
It seems fucking interesting.
It's not interesting. Shit's wild. I wouldn't recommend anybody watching that. But watch the trailer for sure. Okay, we'll move on to...
So this wasn't in your 2 good trailers you saw this week?
No, are you...
What the fuck else would it have been?
Dude, I feel like you don't even know me.
What else would you... I know one other one that it was, but then what's the other one that you thought was good?
Okay, so we'll start with House of Dragons.
Oh.
It's a good fucking trailer, dude.
Right, dude. Yeah, I see where your fucking bar is.
I'm not even going to go with this, dude. Lamb. That's all I'm going to say. You lose all credibility.
Dude, fucking House of Dragons, bro.
All right, well, for those of you who don't know, the Game of Thrones prequel gave a teaser trailer from HBO, and we're getting a origin story on House Targaryen, and trailer looks pretty dope. Lenny doesn't give a shit about Game of Thrones because he waited until it was over to actually watch it.
It wasn't over when I watched it. I watched the last episode in real time.
So he waited until it got bad to actually start watching it.
Just to clarify, Matt, it's blasphemy, which I thought we had moved on past this, but, impressively, when the season 10 was coming out, managed to get through 9 seasons to get all the way there.
Season 8, Len.
Yeah, no, I said that.
You said season 10.
No, I said season 10.
Okay.
I caught up to it.
But you didn't do it. You didn't do it with like a smile on your face. You walked into a conversation with me and were like, "What do you mean I didn't watch Game of Thrones?" And I was like, "I know that you haven't watched Game of Thrones." You were like, "I fully caught up on Game of Thrones the last 6 weeks." Okay, how am I supposed to know that?
I'm
dude?
a Game of Thrones expert.
I hate that you do that sometimes, just like you did today. Like we got it on freaking camera.
I'm a Game of Thrones
where you just bring conversation into it. Well, the trailer's out. Lenny's not hot on it.
You know why I don't care?
Because you don't give a shit about anything.
Here's what it is. I think I don't like. Are there any actors that are cool in this?
No.
Doesn't get me off my seat,
You say that, but were there any like cool actors in The Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter for that instance before you got into it?
I could use Sean Bean as an answer to Lord of the Rings. I could also say Viggo Mortensen had been around for a long time prior to that, really.
No, Lord of the Rings was a bad example.
Harry Potter, dude. I read all the books. Of course it was going to be interesting.
Whatever, man.
You gave 2 bad examples, man.
All right, dude.
You proved my point.
How about you tell me what
Are there books for this?
Can you tell me what you thought was a good trailer? Yes, there's probably going to be books for it. Actually, he hasn't finished the first books for the last books for Game of Thrones.
So there is no House of Targaryen.
Maybe. Who knows?
Is she going to be in it?
No. This is like 200 years before her. It's a prequel, Lenny. Origin story.
So do you already know the outcome of this?
Yeah, they all die.
And is this like The Walking Dead's doing that like 2-season limited series? Is this a series that has like a cap to it?
Yeah, I'm guessing, but I can't imagine it being something that goes.
If you've already showed me the ending, isn't it a little difficult to like?
But the thing is we're getting 100 to 200 years prior to the story that we know, so you still get to see how all these houses came to power. So you're getting an introduction to storylines, characters that we know a little bit about, but we don't have the full story of.
Are the Starks and the Lannisters going to be in this?
I would imagine the Starks probably are. The Lannisters, I feel like, are a new house, whereas the Starks have been Wardens of the North and Kings of the North since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of the First Men. Bailey needs to cut this shit out, dude.
Yeah, she's fine. She's protecting the house, dude.
But I think you see the Targaryens. I think you see the Baratheons. I think you see the Starks. Maybe they give us more of the family from Dorne. I think there's a lot of interesting storylines here, man.
Cool. So I'll tell you what wasn't good trailers. Hypnotic. I don't even know
we don't
why
even
you
talk
showed
about
me that.
it's our Netflix trailer of the week.
And Peacemaker had like a 1-minute thing. Not much there. Not a ton to write home. Wasn't that funny.
It was kind of, honestly, it kind of put a sour taste in my mouth because it was like
it's a little weird.
I didn't like how they were treating him. It's really weird to me that like this character is supposed to be the big bad, but
he's also just a laughingstock all at the same. Like he was a laughingstock kind of in Suicide Squad movie.
I'll tell you what, dude, I'm punching one of those people in the fucking face. They're talking to me like that.
Yeah, instead he took it like a little puss.
Took it on the chin. Just a 1-minute teaser. Nothing to really get excited about.
But the one trailer that I think we both can agree on that was very, very good, we had talked a couple weeks ago about the movie Free Solo and how the director of that was making a new movie. That comes out this weekend, October 8th, and we got a chance to watch the trailer. Which...
Yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting. I thought that it was like a post story about what had happened. The idea that they in real time found these people and recorded the entire like trek that they had to go through to get them, it was pretty heart-wrenching, man.
And again, it plays with the thing that these directors have done a great job, and we referenced this when we talked about it before. The first movie, Free Solo, plays with your fear of heights, makes you feel like you're really there. You feel the tension. You feel that any move that could, like, things could go drastically wrong. And I think this movie plays with another really, really common large fear, which is like claustrophobia, fear of drowning. There's a lot of different things that you can kind of look at in this movie. And they just the trailer alone does a great job of making you understand the dire need that these kids were in, but also like the difficulty that they were facing of getting down there.
It's chilling, man, because I can tell you honestly that I didn't know enough about the story when it was going on. And you put a little bit more eyes on it because of the documentary coming out, but this helps you capture and understand the dire like straits that these kids were going through, and it was really life and death not only for them but for the people who were trying to save them.
Yeah.
And to be able to experience that, my palms are getting sweaty just thinking about it. I think it's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to watching.
It's definitely a must watch for me this weekend. I'll be going out of my way to check it out. Just not only because of how impressed I was with the first movie these guys made that I'd seen, but yeah, this trailer. I mean, and we're watching a little of it right now. It's just, I don't know how long those kids are down there. I feel like I did know when it was happening, but now I don't really remember. But it's like seeing these kids are just like stuck in this pitch black room with no food. It's wet. It's damp. Like. And how hard it is for these trained divers to get to where they are.
It makes you, how did they get there? Like, all of it is just really...
Well, and they do a great job in the trailer of letting you know how risky it was, even going as far as to say that the Coast Guard or the Navy SEALs there couldn't even do it. And it's like a specific group of, it seems like American divers or like hobbyists that are just like really into dangerous dives are the ones that ended up doing it.
Yeah,
and coming up with the plan, and like how they're brutally honest about the fact that a lot of these kids may not make it out. Like I don't know, it's
sorry,
it's gripping stuff. Yeah, so I like 100%. Like I know we're gonna watch it. I would really recommend checking it out. It seems like a really good movie to watch this weekend.
Yeah, National Geographic is dropping the hot stuff on you. But yeah, man, that's what we're gonna have to look forward to, because while that trailer was new to us, that had actually been out for a couple of weeks already. So yeah. I'm glad we got a chance to catch it.
So outside of that, as we've like referenced, right, like the Rescue's coming out this weekend. That's the name of that movie. Check that one out. We also have the return of 007, James Bond.
Final frontier,
possibly the final appearance of Daniel Craig in the role. Can't say I'm that excited for it. I do have tickets. It's a way too long of a fucking movie. It's like
it's no Mission Impossible, dude.
No, it is not. We can have that debate all day long.
I'm down.
2 hours and 42 minutes this fucking movie is, though.
Nope.
So, Jesus.
You'll can already tell you I'm going to lie about watching it. There you go.
And then we have what we mentioned earlier. We have Fairy Wilder coming up this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to no matter how you plan on catching it. Maybe you pay for it, maybe you don't. We don't really care, but let us know your thoughts on the fight and if you do plan on catching it, man. But Lenny, where could they find us on the medias of socials when they're not shut down?
So we are on Twitter at Good Taste Live. More importantly, for the month of October, though, we are on Instagram, Matt.
You're darn right we're on Instagram, baby. And we are taking everybody on a pretty wild ride that we're calling the 31 Days of Horror.
What I found out after we've been doing our 31 Days of Horror is that that's a commonly called thing. But we're hopping on a trend, which I can say that I'm never very good at doing, but I'm really happy to. I love horror movies. We've curated a list of 31 movies that we think, and franchises in general, that we think people have watched. I've already started watching some of them. I've watched, some of my favorites already this month.
Dude, that Final Destination 1 and 2 messed me up the other night, bro. Still can't remember, forget how crazy that film is. You can't cheat death, bro.
No, I've heard.
But that was only day 3. And right now we're on day 5. By the time this gets out,
we'll be on day 6.
We'll be on day 6, which if you could just pad it up a little bit so I can sweeten the deal and just make sure.
Are you gonna spoil it for them already?
No, I'm not going to spoil it. I just want to let
What's
them know
number 4? Let's talk
that
about
we've
today,
got the
'cause they're
cabin.
not-
No, we've got the cabin in the woods going on
Ooh,
today.
a little Joss Whedon classic about a haunted house that's got some nefarious means going on behind it. An interesting take, quite the scary movie, a little bit of action to it, a little bit of science fiction. 100% recommend that one.
That might be the best elevator pitch I've ever heard.
I got that.
You got a psych,
I got
man.
you.
But we're also
That's at For Those With Good Taste on Instagram, by the way.
at For Those With Good Taste on Instagram. Drop a follow, drop a like, drop a subscription on our YouTube channel, For Those With Good Taste. And you could always find us where audio podcasts are listed. We've got Apple Podcasts, we've got Spotify, Pandora,
And Amazon Prime.
Deezers.
Deezer. Yeah.
And then you've got one that you're a huge fan of.
Well, so they can find them on These
Just
nuts.
nuts. You did it.
These
We were going to
nuts.
try and be a little bit less aggressive about it, but we really thought that we should put it out there.
We got that.
But we love hearing from you guys. So drop a subscribe, drop a like, hit us in the chat. Let us know if we're absolutely batshit crazy with everything that we talked about, because usually we are.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll catch you guys on the flip side and sometime maybe next week.
Eloquent as always, Matt. We love you. See you next week. One love.
Deuces.
For those with good taste.